Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We offer our salutations to Ramana, who shines as the self in all beings. And we begin today's satsang with a prayer, followed by the chanting of the Muktaka trayam. Dakshinamurti Sarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Ramanacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Parampara Vande Guru Parampara Vande Guru Parampara Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivardam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarvavangmayam Aharyam Chandrataradi Tam Namasatvikam Shivam Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likyate Khatam Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Yahamahamiti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hridi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majjatava Pavanachalanarodhat Atmanishto Bhavatvam Deham Mrinmayavachchadatmakamaham Buddhirna tasyastyato Naham tattatapeta sukti samaye Siddhatma sadbhavataha Koham bhavayutak kuto varadhiya Drishtatmanishtatmanam Soham spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the chanting of a few verses from Upadesa Saram by Kumari Uma Shripati.
Namo Ramana. Idamaham pada Vikyamanvaham Ahamilena ke Sattaya Vigrahendriya Pranadhitama Nahamekasat Tajjadam Yasat सत्त्वभासिका चित्त्ववेतरा सत्तया हि चेत् चित्तया ह्यहम् ईश जीवयोर्वेषधीविदा सत्स्वभावतो वस्तु केवलम् वेषहानता स्वात्मदर्शनम् ईशदर्शनम् स्वात्मरूपत आत्मसंस्थिति स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्द्वयादात्मनिष्ठता ज्ञानवर्जिता अज्ञानहीन चेत् ज्ञानमस्ति किम् ज्ञातुमन्तरम् किं स्वरूपम् इत्यात्मदर्शने अव्यया भवा पूर्णचित्सुखम् बन्धमुक्त्यति तं परं सुखम् विन्दति हजी वस्तु दैविक अहमपेतकम् निजविभानकम् महदितं तपो रमणवागीयम् नमो रमण
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the offerings of Ramananjali Sangeetam. This will be done by Srimati V. Radha, followed by Dr. Pratibha Sundaresh, and that will be followed by an offering by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan.
Namo Ramana to all. Today I will be singing a song written by Sri Muruganar Swami. The Telugu translation is by J.H.B. Acharya and the music is by Srimati Sulochana Natarajan. రమణానందుని పాదము చేరి పాటలు పాడుము భ్రమరమా రమణానందుని పాదము చేరి పాటలు పాడుము భ్రమణమా తిన్నగరమణుని పాదము చేరి పాడుము భ్రమరమా తిన్నగరమణుని పాదము చేరి పాడుము భ్రమరమా వెంకటరమణుని పదపద్మములను ఎరిగి చేరుమా భ్రమణమా వెంకటరమణుని పదపద్మములను ఎరిగి చేరుమా భ్రమరమా వికసిత పద జలజమ్ముల ప్రేమతో ఘనుమా భ్రమరమా వికసిత పద జలజమ్ముల ప్రేమతో ఘనుమా భ్రమరమా పాలన చేసిడి ప్రభుని రమణుని పాట పాడుమా భ్రమరమా పాలన చేసిడి ప్రభుని రమణుని పాట పాడుమా భ్రమరమా పాట పాడుమా భ్రమరమా పాట పాడుమా భ్రమరమా రమణానందుని పాదము చేరి పాటలు పాడుము భ్రమరమా రమణానందుని పాదము చేరి పాటలు పాడుము భ్రమరమా పాటలు పాడుము భ్రమరమా పాటలు పాడుము భ్రమరమా. నమో రమణ.
We'll have the offering by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan.
Ramana Satguru Ramana Ramana Satguru Rayane Ramana Sadguru, Ramana Sadguru, Ramana Sadguru Rayane. Ramana Sadguru, Ramana Sadguru, Ramana Sadguru Rayane. Ramana Sadguru, Ramana Sadguru, Ramana Sadguru Rayane. புகழும் பொன்னுலகத்து வானவர் போற்றி நின்று புகழ்ந்திடும் திகழும் நன்னிலமான் திருச்சொழி தன்னில் வந்ததயபரன் அழகு சுந்தரந்தில் வரும் அமுதபாதி அருணையா பழவிடை தீடு வடிவிலா வடிவானவன் ரமண சத்குரு ரமண சத்குரு ரமண சத்குரு ராயனே 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 அமல ஞான அருட்பெரும் கடல் அருணயங்கிரி தன்னிலே விமலமேயுருவாகி வந்தோர் திருப்பன குகை மேவினார் வாது செய்திடு மாயை தன்னை வளைத்து நின்று நீதித்தவன் சூது நோடு வந்தக சூழ்வினை தொகையற்றவன் ரமண சத்குரு ரமண சத்குரு ரமண சத்குரு ராயனே 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 அருணை ஈசன் எடுத்தனை வீடும் அன்பன் என் குரு நாயகன் கருணையே வடிவாக நின்றிடு கற்பக தருவாகினோன் மூன்று தேகம் மறிந்து வாழ்வினே கோடியேறினார் தோன்று மேற்று வாழ்வினே கழியாது நின்றிடு தோன்றலான் ரமண சத்குரு ரமண சத்குரு ரமண சத்குரு ராயனே 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 ரமண சத்குரு ராயனே ரமண சத்குரு ராயனே ஓம் நமோ பகவதே ஸ்ரீ ரமணாய.
Namo Ramana. We continue the session with a reading and a sharing by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we have been reading from Ramana's Muruganar, a birth centenary offering by our founder president, Sri A.R. Natarajanji. We have been reading the account of Muruganar by T.K. Jaisriram, entitled Muruganar and Ramanapadananda. Muruganar and Ramanapadananda by T.K. Jaisriram. In the same vein, taking Muruganar along with one more great devotee with whom he has been associated, Muruganar and Sadhuvam Swamigal. This article is by Michael James, who was very closely associated with Sadhuvam Swamigal for many years. This article is entitled Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam by Michael James. When God incarnates himself on earth in the form of the Sadguru, he does not come alone. He brings with him highly mature souls, in answer to whose prayers he gives true instructions to the world, and through whom he afterwards expounds and makes clear those teachings, using their mind, speech, and body as his pure instruments to instruct the world, both through the words and example. When God incarnates himself on earth in the form of the Sadguru, he does not come alone. He brings with him highly mature souls, in answer to whose prayers he gives true instructions, true teachings to the world, and through whom he afterwards expounds and makes clear those teachings, using their mind, speech, and body as his pure instruments to instruct the world, both through words and example. Though such devotees come for the benefit of the world, their attention is never turned towards the world, but is ever turned towards God, who shines outside as the Sadguru and within as the Self. Among such rare, exemplary, and pure devotees, whom Sri Ramana Bhagavan, the Loka Mahaguru, brought with him to the world, the foremost are Sri Muruganar Swamigal and Sri Sadhuvam Swamigal. Those devotees who have had the good fortune of associating closely with Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam, or who have carefully gone through their writings, will have been left in no doubt that they are both instruments specially chosen by Sri Bhagavan for revealing, expounding, and exemplifying his teachings for the benefit of the world. Because both Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam have surrendered themselves completely to Sri Bhagavan, thereby merging themselves in him. They truly retain no individuality of their own, and thus they are not other than Sri Bhagavan himself. Hence, it is indeed Sri Bhagavan himself who acts through them, eliciting, recording, and expounding his own teachings. Knowing this truth, Sri Natanananda Swami, one of the foremost devotees of Sri Bhagavan, has sung in one of his prefatory verses to Guru Vachaka Kovai Urai. The quotation is, wise people who see the wondrous beauty both of these verses recording Lord Ramana's sayings and this prose rendering of them will surely declare that it is the Lord himself who, as the renunciant and skillful Muruganar, has composed these verses, and who, as Sadhuvam, has rendered them into prose. I will repeat Natananda Swamigal's comment. Wise people who see the wondrous beauty both of these verses recording Lord Ramana's sayings and this prose rendering of them by Sadhuvam Swamigal will surely declare that it is the Lord Himself, that Lord Himself who, as the renunciant and skillful Muruganar, has composed these verses and who, as Sadhuvam, has rendered them into prose. Thus, because of their egolessness, their complete loss of individuality, both Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam have become pure channels through which the Sadguru's grace can flow. While it has been part of Shri Muruganar to elicit from Shri Bhagavan such works as Atma Vidya, Kirtanam, Upadesa Undiyar, and Ullad Narpadu, and to record his oral teachings in a pure and undiluted form in the work Guruvachaka Kovai, it has been the part of Shri Sadhuvam to expound and make clear the true import of these works in his simple, clear, and lucid Tamil commentaries. While it has been the part of Shri Muruganar to reveal to the world in works such as Shri Ramananjali Bodham the nature of the supreme experience which he had attained through the grace of Shri Bhagavan, it has been the part of Sadhuvam, Shri Sadhuvam, to show the world in works such as Shri Ramana Sahasram, Shri Ramana Guru Arul, Antadi, and Shri Ramana Varuha, how to pray for such grace. Thus, it can be seen that the roles of Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam have been complementary, and that between them they have given to the world a vast and invaluable treasure of works which cover the whole range of spirituality, whole range of true spirituality, and which will answer all the needs of aspirants who come after them. Moreover, through the humble and self-effacing way of life lived by Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam, Shri Bhagavan has exemplified how a true devotee should live his life in this world, unattached to the world, unknown to the world, and uncaring for the appreciation and praise of the world, in the world, but not of the world. I'll read that again. Moreover, through the humble and self-effacing way of life lived by Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam, Shri Bhagavan has exemplified how a true devotee should live his life in this world, unattached to the world, unknown to the world, and uncaring for the appreciation and praise of the world, in the world, but not of the world. Thus, it is not only through their written works, but also through their exemplary way of living that Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam have taught us, the less mature devotees, how to follow the path of Shri Ramana. Thus, it is not only through their written works, but also through their exemplary way of living that Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam have taught us, the less mature devotees, how to follow the path of Shri Ramana. The intimate spiritual and literary friendship which existed between Shri Muruganar and Shri Sadhuvam was forged by Shri Bhagavan himself on the very first day in 1946 that Shri Sadhuvam came to him. On that day, Shri Sadhuvam sang before Shri Bhagavan the song Kuyilodu Kural, which had spontaneously surged forth in him, in his heart, a few days earlier, and in which all his feeling of intense longing, all his feelings of intense longing to Shri Bhagavan were expressed in a most heart-melting manner. After hearing that song, Shri Bhagavan read through it carefully and asked Shri Sadhuvam to show it to Shri Muruganar. Thus started the deep and intimate friendship between these two great poet saints, which in course of time proved most fruitful. Through his association with Shri Muruganar, Shri Sadhuvam was able to learn many subtle points about classical Tamil grammar and prosody, to gain a deep insight into the terse and cryptic style of Tamil used by Shri Bhagavan Bhagavan and Sri Muruganar in their works, and also to perfect his own innate but untrained poetic genius. In return, Sri Sadhuvam did singular service to Sri Muruganar in helping him to finalize his verses and to preserve them for posterity. As Sri Muruganar used to say, தவத்துக்கு ஒருவர் தமிழுக்கு இருவர். தவத்துக்கு ஒருவர் தமிழுக்கு இருவர். One for tapas, two for Tamil, because such refined literary work can be done perfectly only when two equally accomplished poets assist each other. Because of his tireless and willing labor, his thorough knowledge of Sri Muruganar's style and subject, his own literary skill, and profound and practical understanding of Sri Bhagavan's teachings, Sri Sadhuvam alone could render real assistance to Sri Muruganar in all his literary work. Knowing this, Sri Muruganar once said during his last days, if Sadhuvam is not entrusted with full responsibility for preserving and editing all my unpublished verses, then it will be better to bundle all of them together and offer them into the Deepam fire on top of Arunachala, or drown them into the Bay of Bengal. Knowing this, I'll repeat that. Knowing this, Sri Muruganar once said during his last days, if Sadhuvam is not entrusted with the full responsibility for preserving and editing all my unpublished verses, then it will be better to bundle all of them together and offer them into the Deepam fire on top of Arunachala, or drown them into the Bay of Bengal. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the practice of self-enquiry. The self-enquiry session will be guided by Sri Dileep Simhaji.
Namo Ramana. Dhyayet Sharada Chandra Sundaramukam Tamradavindekshadam Bhaktabhishtavarabhayapradakaram Kaupinamathrojvalam Svatmanandarasanubhutipivasham Sarvanavadyangakam Srimantam Shri Ramaneshwaram Guruvaram Yogasanadhyasitam Dhyayet Shri Ramaneshwaram Dhyayet Shri Ramaneshwaram Dhyayet Shri Ramaneshwaram Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahmamatram Yahamaham Sakshatatmarupena Bhati Hridivishamanasa Swam Chimbata Majjatava Pavana Chalanarodha Atmanishto Bhavatvam. We will commence the Atma Vicharam by listening and meditating on Bhagavan's Upadesham. I'll be reading his Upadesham from the book Guru Vachaka Kovai, from the chapter Investigation into the Truth, The topic is the world of Triputis is only the play of the power of consciousness. Verse 53. If one corrects one's defective vision, transforming it into the form of true gnana, the supreme, and if one then sees with that gnana vision, the world that appears as a sea of sorrows will exist as a sea of supreme bliss. I repeat, if one corrects one's defective vision, transforming it into the form of true gnana, the supreme, and if one then sees with that gnana vision, the world that appears as a sea of sorrows will exist as a sea of supreme bliss. Drishtim gnanamayam krutva pashyan brahmamayam jagat is what this verse trying to convey to us. The gnana, what is it? If we are so carried away with the various names and forms of various jewelries and its utilities, and it is so that each of us have some finite set of jewelries, and collectively, let us say, the possibilities of jewelries are infinite. And then I get bewildered that my jewelry, I have only few of them, somebody else has a lot more of them. And I have a earring, but I don't have a nose ring, or somebody has a nose ring, doesn't have an earring, and we pride about it, or we make fun about it. If this is where our whole vision of what we possess is, then we are so carried away with the names and the forms of that ornaments. But we totally forget that all of them are nothing but gold alone. And therefore, everybody has been blessed with the gold. Everybody has the gold. We forget that. We get so carried away with the names and forms, and we start to compare. We start to feel depressed about it. We start to make somebody fun of it and everything. So, in that state, if we are not having a clear idea what all of these things are made of, whatever we are experiencing, if we come to the plane of our earthly living, then we can say whatever we are experiencing, whether we are experiencing emotional thoughts, whether we are experiencing gross objects, or whether we are seemingly tossed between ups and downs, which rights and wrongs and all of that. And if we are comparing how much my mental movements are with somebody else's mental movements are, and all of that names and forms, then we have forgotten what is this all these things is made of. And Bhagavan is saying, and that is ajnana, that is the ignorance, that we have never inquired what is all of this made of. And if we inquire, what is this all made of? And to whom is all of this? And if we come to know that it is for me, and for who am I when I really inquire, then it becomes very, very clear. All of this is made of that supreme truth. And what is that supreme truth? A truth which never goes through any transformation. It remains the same at all times. That is the supreme. That is the truth. And that itself has become all this, like the gold itself becomes all the ornaments. That truth alone has become everything. So until we know that truth, what it is, and when we recognize that that truth itself is all of this, various transitory names and forms, And therefore, all of us are blessed, all of us are that, and there is nothing much but to recognize this absolute reality, which is so naturally given to all. And once we have that kind of a vision towards everything that we experience, that is the real Brahmamaya Drishti. And in that, Bhagavan is saying, what we are now experiencing with the names and forms as sorrowful and something that we cannot control. We recently had a plane crash, and we know the stories of many people. We feel sorrow. And if it was somebody close to ourselves, we will be not more sorrowful. But unless we understand what is this all this stuff made of, and what is that truth, that supreme, with which all of this is made, and then when we recognize that supreme is really cannot be distorted and it remains the same, then it becomes clear that what this world was appearing as full of sorrowful is nothing but the supreme Leela, or the supreme bliss itself, the supreme itself. And that is what Bhagavan is saying through this verse. So it becomes very important that we don't get carried away by the surface names and forms and gross and subtle ideas and concepts, but to inquire to whom is this and recognize that it is for me. But then who am I? Because all these experiences, which very well look very real when I am experiencing at this moment in time, and few years or few days, few months from now, I may not even have an iota of that recollection, and something else may be occupying my attention on my center stage of attention. So therefore, how much is all this experience real, and how much the experiencer of all of this is real, and who is it, is a very important question, Bhagavan says in self-enquiry. And therefore, instead of getting carried away with the experience or getting carried away with the experiencer, if we explain, if we inquire, if we try to find out who is that what is it that enables all of this, and when we go back to that with the question, who am I, then the supreme truth, which alone is the substratum of everything, will be found to be naturally present, and not only present to anybody who is doing a spiritual sadhana, it is naturally present to every being, whether it is an animal, a plant, a tree. It is equally available to all, and it is in fact all of that is only the manifestation of that supreme truth. And therefore, instead of seeing it as a supreme sorrow, we start to see it as the supreme bliss, says Bhagavan. With Bhagavan's immense grace, with which alone we have come to this most direct path for the next 10 minutes. No matter how many thoughts come, no matter what is the nature of those thoughts, if we can recognize that that is only a name and form that we are experiencing, but to whom? It is for me. So the experience and the experiencer, that I, who is this? When we inquire, who am I? And try to get back to the source of the I, the here and now, we will experience, by the very questioning of who am I, the supreme truth alone. Initially, we may not recognize it, but with repeated practice, because we take that for granted. We are always looking for some objective experience, but we forget what enables us to see all of it. Once we keep on inquiring it, we finally figure out that the supreme truth, its very presence, and in its very light, everything is revealed. Like with the presence of the I, everything is seen. The eye may not see itself, but with verily the presence of the eye, verily the ability of the eye, all things are experienced. Similarly, this truth will be found to be the only thing which doesn't go through any transformation, and it is the only thing which enables us to experience everything. And by recognizing that truth to be one's own nature, then the supreme bliss is found to be always natural in that truth. So, this self enquiry Bhagavan has given us is the most direct path to change our vision from one that of ignorance to that one of supreme jnana, real truth, which is naturally present. And the ajnana is just found to be an imaginative thing. With repeated practice, this becomes naturally known to us. Bhagavan's immense grace. For the next 10 minutes, let us practice Atma Vichar. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana. Thank you all.
Namo Ramana. In this part of the satsang, we have been meditating on the 40 verses in praise of Ramana, which are called Ramanacentre. They have been composed by Kavyakanta Vasishta Ganapati Muni, and they have been compiled and given to us by Bhagavan Ramana himself, because these were the stray verses which were written by Ganapati Muni, and they were all compiled together and made into Ramanacentre, which is chanted by devotees every morning at the Ramanashramam, and also in the morning satsangs we have at the Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning. And these 40 verses are in praise of Bhagavan. It makes us understand Ramana, which is the self. So when we are describing the qualities of Bhagavan and his life, we are actually, it is symbol of our own Atma Swarupa. How our Atma Swarupa is so loving and so compassionate, and it has the abode of limitless joy and bliss. And by telling this, it takes us closer and closer to our own true nature, which is the self. And Ramanacentre, like any Ramananjali song, has this transforming power to take us back to that silence from which these words have risen. We are at the 40th verse of Ramanacentre, where Ganapati Muni is describing and summarizing the glory of Ramana. Shantirnidantamadika paramasya shakti vairagyamadbhutatamam karunatu sandra. Shantirnidantamadika paramasya shakti vairagyamadbhutatamam karunatu sandra. Jnanam nirastakuhanam maduram cha vritam nrenam hridarshanayam ramano maharshi. Jnanam nirastakuhanam maduram cha vritam nrenam nidarshanayam ramano maharshi. Ramanam Kurum Namami, Ramanam Kurum Namami, Ramanam Kurum Namami, Ramanam Kurum Namami. Apurva Shanti Aparimita Shakti Adbhuta Virakti Aghada Karuna. Apurva Shanti Aparimita Shakti Adbhuta Virakti Aghada Karuna. Kapata Villada Jnana Madhura Nadateyu Adarsharivaru Manujarige Ramana Maharshigalu. ಕಪಟವಿಲ್ಲದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಮಧುರ ನಡತೆಯೂ ಆದರ್ಶರಿವರು ಮನುಜರಿಗೆ ರಮಣ ಮಹರ್ಷಿಗಳು. ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ, ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ, ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ, ರಮಣ ಗುರುವಿಗೆ ನಮನ. Bhagavan is an embodiment of peace. At the same time, he is the all-powerful Almighty. And he is full of virakti, vairagya. He does not want anything, but his love to all the beings is incomparable. And his jnana is without any kapata. It is without any kuhanam. There is no lacuna in his jnana. It is complete. And yet, he is such a jnani, but he comes down to our level and he is so sweet to each one of us. And he is an example for all of us for ever abiding in the self. When devotees used to complain, Bhagavan, it is difficult to attain self-knowledge, Bhagavan would say, to have the very thought that you cannot achieve is itself the first and greatest obstacle. If others have succeeded, why not you? Says Bhagavan. And he is an example, and he says, I have succeeded in understanding my own true nature as this limitless self. If I have done it, you can also do it. So he is the Adarsha Purusha for each one of us to get back to our own true nature and abide as the self. This month is the month when Ramana, he showered his love to this divine mother, divine cow Lakshmi, and bestowed liberation on her. And it is celebrated at Ramanashramam as a great festival where the beautiful sculpture of Lakshmi, life-size sculpture of Lakshmi, is decorated with the golden and silver kavachams, and she is decorated, and the worship is offered to that Mother Lakshmi. And here at Ramana Maharshi's Center for Learning, we celebrate that day as Prani Mitra Day, celebrating Ramana's love to all creatures. And through his interactions with these animals, he has shown us the truth. He is shown how to be an Adarsha Purusha by his simple and beautiful interactions with these animals. When we hear the story of Rama, and we hear that Rama, when he was going to the exile, he was going away from Ayodhya to the forest with Sita and Lakshmana. It is told that all the people started following him, and not only people, all the animals also started following him. Not only the animals, even the trees started bending towards the direction which Rama was leaving. So this has been described in Valmiki Ramayana, and G. Kameshwarji, while narrating it, he commented that this is what is written in Valmiki Ramayana, that all the creatures, they were all following Rama. And if this is told to the modern day people, they would wonder, this is all just stories. How can animals and how can trees understand and they bend towards Rama? This is all the poetic expression of Valmiki. They would just comment. But if somebody has learnt about the life of Bhagavan Ramana, then they would understand, just like how Bhagavan spoke to the squirrels and the monkeys, Rama would have spoken to the monkey army and to Jambuvan and the squirrels and the Jatayu, the bird, and that's how he would have interacted with each one of them. So if one reads about Ramana, then one can understand the truth about these epics that we learn. But a day may come after many centuries, the people may even question even Ramana's interaction with these animals. But we have documentations of how Ramana has explained even the minute details of all these events which happened, and how the devotees around have documented it, and it is available in various versions, so that there is enough proof for us to understand that how a jnani can be so natural, and at the same time he can shower his love to all the beings. Ramana was full of Shanti and complete with Shanti, yet full of power. So we can see that when the snakes and reptiles and the scorpions, they all would happily go around Ramana's body. And when the devotees, they wanted to beat the snake, Ramana would stop them and say, this Virupaksha cave that we are staying is actually the home of the snakes. Is it right for us to send away these snakes from their own homes? And he told, please show the light to these snakes so that it can go to a safer place outside. So do not hurt these animals. And later, when he was in the Virupaksha cave, his love was so beautiful that once a tigress came to near the Virupaksha cave, and all the devotees were scared and they all ran inside the Virupaksha cave and they closed the gate of the Virupaksha cave and they were calling, Bhagavan, please come inside, please come inside. But Bhagavan was not disturbed. He was sitting and smiling, seeing that tigress. And the tigress came and roared loudly. And Ramana nodded his head. And that tigress drank the water which was collected there near the Virupaksha cave. And it again roared loudly and went back. And when the devotees asked, Bhagavan, were you not scared of this tigress? Ramana told, why should I be afraid? It just came and it told, can I have this water? And then I nodded my head. And it drank the water, and after drinking the water, it just roared again, telling thank you, and it went back. And in one more situation on the slope of the Arunachala hill itself, there was one tiger and one cheetah. They were seemingly fighting with each other, and all the devotees again became afraid, and they all ran inside the Virupaksha Guha, and they locked the room, they locked the gate. And they were seeing what was happening. And after some time, the tiger went up the hill and cheetah went down the hill. And the devotees came out and asked, Bhagavan, what was happening? They were fighting with each other and you were not scared. We were all very, very scared, so we ran inside the cave. And Bhagavan told, why should I be afraid? That the tiger and the cheetah were playing with each other. And once they finished playing, I knew that one, the wild cat would go up and the other would go down. So I knew this. So if actually if you don't hurt the animals, they will not hurt you. But if you say, oh cheetah or oh tiger, they may say, oh human, and they may pounce on you to attack you for their own safety. But if one does not disturb them, then they will also not disturb you. They will do their work and go. So such was the Shanti which Ramana showed. And he also told, at the time of such danger, do not get overwhelmed or do not get filled with anxiety. Cool down, and when the mind is calm, then you will find ways to tackle that problem and to face the problem and do the work without troubling that thing which is causing problem. And he was full of Shakti. He was full of Shanti at the same time. He was full of Shakti. And we have heard of a story where a shepherd girl and her friends, they were all grazing these goats and sheeps on the slopes of Arunachala. And one goat kid, it fell inside a deep pit in Arunachala. And everybody told, no, it's very, very deep pit. If anyone goes inside, they may get stuck inside and they may not be able to come out. Leave that goat kid there. Come, let's all go home. It's getting late. It's getting dark in the evening. But that girl did not want to leave the goat kid and go away. So she was waiting and crying there in the edge of the pit. And Ramana came and found out what had happened. And quickly he jumped inside the pit. And quickly took that goat kid on his shoulder. And quickly climbed up the pit. and he gave back that goat kid, and the goat mother also was filled with joy, and even that girl, the shepherd girl, was very, very happy, and she understood that my friends told me that it is impossible by any human to go and get this goat kid from that deep pit. But who is this man who is there with me? He is none other than Bhagavan. He is God himself. So he alone has this power to do this task, amazing task of saving the goat kid. I always remind myself and everyone that if one thinks that he is only this limited body and limited identity, then they can only accomplish limited things. But when one understands that one is not this limited being, one is the God's power, he is the divine power which is shining within. Once he gets connected to that power, then anything is possible and everything is wonderful. It is just that we have forgotten our own true nature, just like how Hanuman had forgotten his own greatness. And it was Jambuvan, the Guru, who comes and tells, it is possible. You are the divine power. You are not this limited monkey that you think, but you are that Rama Bhana. You are the power of Rama. When you understand this truth, then the Anjaneya grew to be a huge monkey, and in one moment he just jumped and crossed the ocean. And when we understand our own true nature as divinity, then anything becomes possible. In the Ramana Gita, 18th chapter, Amritanatha Yati asks, O Bhagavan, can a Jnani perform any miracle? Can he perform anything? And Bhagavan told the Jnani is one with the Ishvara. So anything is possible. He can accomplish anything. He can do any miracle. But the Jnani is not interested in exhibiting his miracles. But miracles happen naturally in the presence. It's called the natural divine activity happens in his presence. Such is the power of the Ramana Shakti and Ramana's presence, and also the Shanti which is there in his presence. And here Ganapati Muni says the Virakti of Bhagavan is also fantastic. Ramana, when he was up in the hill, he only had one pair of kaupinam and one towel, which is also torn into rags. But he used to, if the kaupinam is torn in the front side, he used to make it ulta and wear it ulta, the front side as back side and back side old side. So otherwise when it's torn, he used to take a thorn and make it a needle, and he used to use one of the thread from his towel as a thread, and he used to stitch the kaupinam and wear that. And his towel had so many holes in it that he used to make it into a ball, and he used to use it and he used to wash it and dry it between two big rocks so that nobody could see that the towel which had turned into rags. But one day the shepherd boys saw this torn towel of Bhagavan, and they started making fun of the towel and told, "Oh Swami, your towel is very, very beautiful. The governor wants it to keep it in his museum." So they all started making fun of Ramana's towel, and Ramana also joined the fun and told, "Oh, I am not going to give it to any governor. This is very, very precious. I don't want to leave it, and I want to give it to anyone," said, and they were all sharing a laugh, and the devotees overheard what was happening. And they realized, oh my God, we had so many towels and kaupinams kept for Bhagavan in the suitcase, but we never realized that Bhagavan did not have even a pair of kaupinam and a towel. And such is his vairagya that he never wanted anything. He was happy with whatever he had. Even when the new towel and kaupinam was given, there was no change in his state. He was ever in that satisfied state. So in the Arati song that we sing, Puti Narsimachar Sada Tushta, he was ever satisfied. Sada Hrishta, he's always happy. Sada Shivananda Pushta, he's healthy with that Shivananda. And his karuna is limitless. His love was there for everyone. And there was no kapata in his jnana. His jnana was available to everyone. When the Jackie was sitting in the Ramanashramam near the wall where Ramana was sitting and all devotees were sitting, when a stray dog entered, when it was getting distracted, he gave the Upadesha to the dog also. He did not say it is only a dog. His jnana was available to every seeker. And he told, oh Jackie, if you look outside, you may get disturbed. Look within, then you will never be disturbed. You will always be in that bliss. And quickly, Jackie closed his eyes, but the devotees kept on seeing outside. So his jnana is there for everyone, including these animals. And yet, he was available to everyone. We may distinguish as these people are eligible for jnana, these people are not eligible for jnana, these people are should be devotees, these people cannot be devotees. So these the classification is only done by our ignorant human mind. But for Ramana, everybody was one. Everybody were embodiments of that very same one consciousness. So there was this deceased dog which was trying to take an entry to see Bhagavan in the hall. But every time it used to try entering the hall, the devotees used to shoo that dog away every time. So the Ramana saw what was happening. But he did not change anything. He left the devotees shoo that dog away. But later in the night, when everybody had slept, slowly Bhagavan got up from his couch and started walking outside the ashram. And some devotees wondered, where is Bhagavan going? Maybe he's going to attend his nature call. So they thought, and they wanted to go behind him giving some light. So they went behind Bhagavan. And what did they see? They saw that deceased dog which had been shooed by the devotees the day long, and that was waiting for Bhagavan. And as soon as Bhagavan came, it was filled with joy. It jumped on that Bhagavan and it started licking all Bhagavan's body and was filled with joy. And they started jumping around him and shaking its tail with joy. And after licking him, Ramana slowly asked, are you satisfied now? Shall I go now? And he took his permission from that dog with the sweet, conduct with that dog, and he went back to the hall. And the devotees were amazed seeing the karuna of Bhagavan. For us, it's a deceased dog, but for Ramana, it is a devotee, a great siddha or a great sadhaka who has come to enjoy the presence of Ramana, who is the self. And it is told that after the next day, that dog was found dead. But actually, it was absorbed in that Ramana, who is the Atma Tattva. So Ramana, who is ever abiding in the self. The symbol of a one who is ever abiding in the self is Sarva Bhuta Samatvena Lingena Jnana Mohyatam. The symbol of a great one, a Jnani, is that his love is there for all the beings. And that's what we see in Bhagavan. And he is an example for us of the state of a Jnani. How a Jnani would naturally interact with everyone, yet he is ever abiding the self. That state is not disturbed by any of his action outwards. So to teach us this glory of being Ramana, of abiding as the self, which is Ramana, Ramana has come into our lives. We will have the chanting of a few verses of Aksharamanamalai by Srimati V. Radha.
அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா வீடு விட்டீர் துள வீடு புக்கு பய உன் வீடு காட்டினை அருள் அருணாச்சலாம் வெளிவிட்டேன் உன் செயல் வெறுத்திடதுன் அருள் வெளிவிட்டென்னை காருணாச்சலாம் வேதாந்தத்தே வேரற விளங்கும் வேத பொருள் அருள் அருணாச்சலாம் வைதலை வாழ்த்தா வைத்தருள் குடியா வைத்தென்னை விடாதருள் அருணாச்சலாம் அம்புவில்லாலி போல் அன்புரு உன்னில் என்னை அன்பா கரைத்தருள் அருணாச்சலாம் அருணை என்றென்னையான் அருள் கண்ணிப்பட்டேன் உன் அருள் வலை தப்புமோ அருணாச்சலாம் சிந்தித்தருள் பட சிலந்தி போல் கட்டி சீரையீட்டுண்டனை அருணாச்சலாம் அன்போடு நாமம் கேட அன்பர்த்தம் அன்பருக்கு அன்பனாயிட அருள் அருணாச்சலாம் என் போலும் தீனர இன்புற காத்து நீ என்னாலும் வாழ்ந்தருள் அருணாச்சலாம் என்புரு கண்பர்த்தம் என் சொற்கொள் செவியும் என் பொன்மொழி கூட அருள் அருணாச்சலாம் ஒருமயம்பூதர புன் சொல்லை நன் சொல்ல பொறுத்தருள் இஷ்டம் பின் அருணாச்சலாம் மாலை அளித்தருணாச்சல ரமணயன் மாலை அணிந்தருள் அருணாச்சலாம் மாலை அளித்தருணாச்சல ரமணயன் மாலை அணிந்தருள் அருணாச்சலாம் அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா 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 அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலாம் அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலாம் அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலாம் அருணாச்சலம் வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி அக்ஷரமணமாலை வாழி. நமோ ரமணா.
Namo Ramana. We conclude today's satsang with Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan. Ashtottara puja will be done by Sri Dileep Simha ji at the altar in his house, and the chanting of Ashtottara will be by Ujwal and Uma. That will be followed by the Arati song. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामावली अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मि मात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि. ॐ महासेन महोंशेन जाताय नमः. ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः. ॐ गुरवे नमः. ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः. ॐ अहौजसे नमः. ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः. ॐ जगद्हितावताराय नमः. ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः. ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः. ॐ सुन्दरार्यथफप्पलाय नमः. ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः. ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौळिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताकिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईढ्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्छिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणात्मन्दमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः ॐ सेनान्ये नमः ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि यस्ताणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे
नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीव हित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संकिये नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡು ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय।
नमो नमः उज्ज्वल नमो नमः